sweet thing like 30 minutes to an hour later, and it tastes bland. Gymnema literally it reduces your cravings for sweet, and also you can't taste as much sweet. So you're like, what's happening? I had a patient come in and she was like, I tried my mom got me my favorite chocolates for my birthday, and I tried them and they just tasted weird. They just tasted different. And I was like, that was the Gymnema. So that's a really good option as well. So that's to reduce blood sugar. To enhance blood vessel function, you want to do anything that enhances nitric oxide. So nitric oxide is that chemical. It's almost like a gas, I guess you could say, that flows alongside the inner tubing, right? And so it's right along the inner tubing, and it helps repair the inner lining of the blood vessel. And nitric oxide is produced by your body, but some ways you can enhance that is beets, right? So beet powder is very popular. That's why like the athletes and the people who lift in the gym like to take beet powder, because it enhances that blood flow to the muscle, creates a bigger pump, right? It'll create a bigger pump in your muscles, but also maybe if you have erectile dysfunction, it'll create a bigger pump down there, right? So that's a way you could fix that. However, I have had patients with diabetic retinopathy, when the blood vessels in the eyes get damaged from a blood sugar issue, get a lot better with a product called Cyruta Plus. That's from Standard Process as well, but it is a really potent bioavailable vitamin C that goes in and heals the collagen that makes up the tubules of the blood vessels. I literally had a patient who was pre-diabetic. He's working for about a year with me, and he lost about 100 pounds within that year, completely natural. And he went to his annual eye appointment, and before he worked with me, he had been diagnosed with retinopathy. And a year working with me, he went back, his retinopathy had reversed, right? So that's really, really cool. If you get a handle on these root causes, your eyes can heal, which is wild. So those are some recommendations. And then of course, if it's a low testosterone issue, you want to make sure you have plenty of zinc, plenty of red meat, plenty of saturated fats, because you don't want to be on a statin, because statins impair hormone production because they suppress cholesterol. And then also herbs to help with testosterone production, like tonka ali, things like that. So that is what I would recommend for erectile dysfunction. I would also do like red light therapy. You could do red light therapy on the male genitalia, because that's going to help heal the cells. And when the cells are healed, you make more testosterone, and you also, the blood vessels become repaired as well. Okay, so that's enough about that. I think if you have any other follow-up questions, I'd be happy to answer. What do I recommend? Next question. What do I recommend for someone who is struggling with infertility? Well, I would say, first of all, a safe body will make a baby. A body that does not feel safe will not make a baby. So in general, you need to get your nervous system regulated, which is kind of a buzzword and it's kind of annoying, but you need your body to be in a state where it feels safe enough to make a baby. And when it feels safe, everything works, right? So this has a lot to do with the female side. The male side, we need to focus on making sure he's not toxic, making sure that he's not consuming processed foods, etc., because that will impact sperm health and quantity. So in general, I would recommend, there's a product called wheat germ oil. Wheat germ oil basically enhances fertility, and I like because it provides the healthy fats that we often are missing. And then another thing you can do too is just like a lot of times I'll have my patients do a liver cleanse if their cycle is not regular, and that fixes it almost always after one cleanse. Sometimes you have to do it twice, but when that is better, then the cycle is more regulated. There's other things too, like if you're talking female side, you have ovulation. So you have the, days 1 through 14, usually 14 is around ovulation, right? And so what you need to do is you need to make sure that the hypothalamus, first of all, there's no stress. When there's a lot of stress, it shuts off the hypothalamus. And the hypothalamus is what tells the pituitary to make all the hormones to stimulate the reproductive organs. So if the hypothalamus is like, no, we're not going to work, we're too stressed, we're not doing anything, I mean, then it stops up here in the brain, right? But if you get cortisol to calm down, which I will use licorice or Romania or Drenamin or adrenal complex from MediHerb to help negate the effects of cortisol on the brain and on the belly, right? A lot of belly fat is actually cortisol from cortisol. So, anyways, so make sure cortisol is being handled, right? And then you want to make sure that the hypothalamus and the pituitary are both healthy. So I have different things that I give patients to nourish those two glandular areas. And if those glandular areas are nourished, then okay, then we work our way downstream. So the pituitary releases FSH and LH, right? Which tell basically it's luteinizing hormone and follicle stimulating hormone. The follicle is what grows, right, to help basically develop the egg, right? And so if the follicle isn't growing, there's different herbs and supplements you can give to support the follicular development. So let me see. Let me just pull up my notes here because I could explain this better. All right. So days 1 through 14, right? And then on day 14 is ovulation. When you ovulate, then you want to begin support days right before ovulation. You want to support that follicular development so that the egg is growing, so that boom, on ovulation, there's actually something to ovulate, right? So days 5 through 14, I'll put people on maybe something called Tribulus or Ovotrophin PMG, but I'm basically giving you all my secrets. So try these, but there's kind of you want to do general hormonal support. Like you want some ovarian support, you maybe want some beef liver. I really like chaste tree with my patients. It depends on the hormone imbalances that you have to determine the dosing of chaste tree. And then hypothalamic pituitrophin PMG to support these guys up here. And then days 5 through 14, you add ovotrophin and tribulus to support that follicular development so that there's successful ovulation. I probably lost some of you there, but that's what I would recommend for infertility. In general, reduce stress, support your cycle, and detox. Okay, reduce stress and detox are both for men and women. So that's what you will want to do. All right. What do I do for varicose and or spider veins? So this is kind of similar to what I was talking about when we were talking about erectile dysfunction or diabetic retinopathy. Again, think about blood vessel health. Blood vessels are made of collagen. Collagen binds together and is stronger when there's also vitamin C, right? So you need both. And so when you're having distended blood vessels like varicose or spider veins, a lot of times you're having problems with vitamin C and collagen health or strength or tone, right? So make sure you're getting plenty of collagen in your diet and make sure you're getting plenty of vitamin C. For blood vessels specifically, I like Cyruta Plus from Standard Process. Or if you want to get the best magnesium on the market for your nervous system and for your brain, plus a lot of really good vitamin C, do Easy Mag. Easy Mag is my favorite. You can get that at the link in my bio. But I talked about this last time, but Easy Mag is proven to beat all the other magnesiums on the market every single time in terms of getting magnesium into the brain, which is where you want it for neurological function and rest when you're trying to sleep, and getting it into the brain and how long it stays there. It's not synthetic either. A lot of magnesium is synthetic, which is kind of crazy. But anyway, so that's what I would do for varicose or spider veins. Vitamin C. Make sure you're walking, make sure your muscles are activated, right? Because sometimes if a muscle is not talking to the brain, there's not that compressive nature that helps create tone around the blood vessel. So that's something to consider as well. All right, what would I recommend for lowering cortisol levels? Chiropractic. Chiropractic helps regulate the nervous system. It breaks you out of that fight or flight, takes you into parasympathetic rest, digest, heal, sleepy, relax mode. So that will help. But in general, things you can do for free, go on a walk, slow, gentle, easy walk. Don't take your phone. That helps with cortisol. Of course, you can do like prayer, meditation. Sauna is great. I love infrared sauna or red light therapy for cortisol, stress management. In terms of herbs, I like Romania and licorice. Those are together in one product called Adrenal Complex from MediHerb, which is great. The reason why I like it, Cortisol, when you have a lot of it, it has an effect on your body. It gives you that droopy face look, super stressed out, makes you pack on unwanted belly fat. It makes your ligaments kind of loose and lax because you're so stressed. You don't have the tone anymore in your body. So licorice is kind of like acts as a buffer to stop all that from happening. Some people are concerned with licorice because some people say it has an effect on blood pressure, but really I would not worry about that. So, okay. What are my favorite ways to regulate the nervous system that you can do at home? I kind of talked about that. Walking, meditation, prayer, drinking plenty of water, having electrolytes in your water, beef liver, Cataplex B Core is one of my favorite supplements for beef liver source. I think that's pretty good. How to treat celiac disease. The frequency scan picked it up. Daughter's stomach always hurts when she eats it. Well, okay, celiac is when you're allergic to gluten, right? I don't know. It would be considered miraculous if she healed from celiac disease because it's genetic. But in general, if you want to support the gut lining, there are things like bone broth you could do Ion Gut. I really like that product. You could do dermatrophin PMG from Standard Process. You could do pituitrophin PMG to stimulate growth hormone to go and help heal the gut lining. So I would try those things. Reduce stress. If you like peptides, you could look into lorazepam or BPC 157 or KPV to help heal that leaky gut. You could try it. I don't think that would really fix celiac, but that's what you could try. So, and maybe I'm not educated enough in that topic, but I've never really considered celiac something to be completely healable. So, sorry, that's probably not that helpful for you. Someone asked, any food that can boost progesterone production naturally? Yes. Healthy carbohydrates like sweet potatoes, squash, garlic. What else? What else is a healthy carbohydrate? Complex carbs. So like plantain, vegetables. You get the idea. Look up complex carbohydrates. Eat a lot of complex carbohydrates on your cycle, days 1 through 14. Boom, zoom, to help support that progesterone production. Okay. I would do that. Someone else asked a question here before it gets too late. What do I recommend for hypoglycemia to prevent crashes? Protein. And then here's the thing. Hypoglycemia, if you're crashing, if you're like, right, that means you're unstable. There's instability in the blood sugar system. You're bouncing, you're a yo-yo, right? So we need to bring it more to here. So something you treat hypoglycemia the same way that you would treat diabetes, because we need to modulate it, right? And everything that brings blood sugar down also strengthens, because you're strengthening the pancreas, you're strengthening the blood sugar handling system. Well, if you're crashing, that's another way it can be weak. So just strengthen it again. So again, something called pancreatrophin PMG is really good, like pointed, very precise pancreas healing. You take it on an empty stomach. That one is really awesome. You can get that, again, link in my bio. And then metabolic complex is something I would do. And then make sure you're eating plenty of proteins and fats. You need to bring stability back to the blood sugar handling system. So that's what I would start with. Speaking of and then also like with that hypoglycemia, I would gently strengthen and condition your body to go longer and longer and longer without food until you can handle like an intermittent fasting schedule at the very least. So someone asked, speaking of red light therapy, have I found it to be helpful with Hashimoto's? If so, how long and how many times a week have you noticed it's helpful? Yes, I have. Red light therapy repairs cells. That's what you need to just, whenever anyone talks about red light therapy, okay, red light therapy helps repair my cells. So if you have a gland, like a thyroid gland that has Hashimoto's that's struggling, right? Could it benefit from cellular repair? Yes. Could anything in your entire body benefit from cellular repair? Yes. That's why when people are advertising their red light therapies, they're like, oh, it fixes this and this, it helps with this and this and this and this and this. They're not wrong, but it sounds ridiculous. But it's because red light therapy supports cells. It stimulates mitochondrial function. When your mitochondria work well, your cells have more energy, they repair things faster, they detox better, right? So red light therapy is awesome. My favorite company for red light therapy devices, if you don't have one, they're very reasonable. I've spoken with the owner. It's called MidwestRedlightTherapy.com. It's really easy. Link in my bio, I think. Let me see. This is like a Joe Rogan where they look stuff up on the internet while they're talking. But it's, MidwestRedlightTherapy.com. You can use code Dr. Jarod, BRJAROD, for 10% off. But I love their stuff. That's where I get like my red light lighting in my bedroom, because I turn my red light bulbs on. Because here's the thing too, with any type of lighting, if you've researched lighting, if it flickers, it's like these lights here are probably flickering, but they're flickering so fast that you can't detect it with your eye, but they're flickering enough to stimulate stress in your nervous system. So when you're buying a red light therapy device or any lighting device, you want to think about, okay, how much flicker do I want? Because flicker drives sympathetic response. So Midwest Red Light Therapy, he guarantees no flicker in any of the red light therapy devices he has, or the indoor lighting light bulbs that he has. So they're great. I like it. I mean, you can get his full body panel, right? Which another company would probably sell for like $4,000 to $6,000. He sells his for $900. So it's really, really economical and excellent if you want a red light therapy device. Okay. Next question. What top 3 things would I recommend for healing the nervous system? Regular chiropractic care. It will comb. Think about you have a long head of hair. I used to have hair down to here. Okay. Long head of hair, and you didn't comb it or wash it for like, I don't know, 20 years. Okay. That's what some of your nervous systems are like. You've gone through so much stress. You've dealt with life. You've never done anything therapeutic for the neurology of your body. This is a dramatic example. Obviously, the body can heal a bit, but when you go to the chiropractor, it's like they begin gently combing out the tangled, messy hair of your nervous system, right? So every time you go, it combs it out. And that's why I have my patients come at least once a month to see me after they're all better, right? When you first come to me, I'm gonna have to work a while. Like, we're gonna have to be a little bit more frequent, right, with chiropractic, because we're regulating the new normal of your nervous system. After you've seen me a while, you don't need to see me that often anymore. But you probably get, the body can get a bit stressed in a month's time. And so that's why I have people come once a month, and we adjust them. We regulate the nervous system. We train the body. We comb through the tangles, right? And everything's smooth and luscious again, okay? So chiropractic care for the nervous system healing. Secondly, none of you drink enough water. Some of you are stressed because you just don't drink water and you don't have salt. So salt, water with a pinch of salt, okay? That can... When I'm well hydrated, I don't know if you guys are tracking HRV or know what HRV is, but HRV is heart rate variability. It's a measurement of how much space and time is between each heartbeat. It shouldn't always be the same because you're not a robot. Like if I'm moving, my heart rate variability should go a little slower because or tighter because my heart is beating faster, right? My heart rate should vary according to what's going on in my life. That variability means my body's taking in my environment and adapting, right? That is really what our nervous system is doing all day long, taking in sensory input, whether it's touch, heat, sight, and adapting. That ability to adapt is the basic measurement for how healthy is your nervous system. So heart rate variability is how well is my heart adapting and my nervous system adapting to my environment. And so when I drink plenty of water and I have plenty of electrolytes or salt in my diet, my heart rate variability the score is higher because my body has more of the electrical energy, right? Because electricity comes from minerals and life comes from water and light, right? And so when you have those things, your nervous system revs up, right? And it's healthier. So that's really cheap. Good water with some salt. Okay, so chiropractic, good water with some salt. And then what else for nervous system? So many things I could say here. Let's just say sleep. Circadian rhythm, wake up, see the sunshine with your eyeballs, go on a walk if you can before work, outside. I know it's hard, but getting in regular sleep pattern will be really, really healing and healthy to your nervous system. Sometimes that's hard to do when your nervous system is super frazzled and you're a tangled mess, right? But I would say just sleep. Okay. All right. Someone says, do you know of a doctor like me in other states? Let's say Virginia. Don't know anybody in Virginia off the top of my head, but check out ICAKUSA.com. They have a doctor locator. They are mostly trained like me, I would say. We all have our own little, way of doing things. That's a great place to start. I can't vouch for everybody on the website because I don't know everybody personally, but I can vouch for the technique and the association. So that's where I would start. All right. What are my thoughts on mold and how to manage mold in the home in Florida? This is unfortunate because Florida is really moldy. It's very moist, and especially during the summer. And a lot of the homes are poorly built, so the humidity gets into the home, and then mold festers and grows. Anyways, you should get your house mold tested because mold can be quite toxic. It can cause a lot of problems. I see it in my practice all the time. And then, of course, you need a good air purifier. My favorite is Molecule. That's at the link in my bio as well. And if you click that link, their big model filters 1,000 square feet. The sticker price is like $1,100, which is crazy, right? But if you click my link, it knocks off almost $400. So then you're like at like the $650, $700 range, which if you're looking at a good air filter that actually gets rid of mold, like the HEPA, that's pretty much market rate. If you're buying anything cheaper than that, I don't really know what you're filtering, honestly, unfortunately. So some people like Air Doctor. I don't know. I really like Molecule because not only does their filtration this level, but they also zap it, which I think is cool and awesome. So, and they look pretty cool too, actually. Can I show you? It's fine. Mine's right back there, but that's the one I like. And I could get, to be honest, I could recommend any of them. They all have affiliate programs or whatever. But I just genuinely believe that is the best one. So, do I believe in choosing a diet based on blood type? No, but one of my good friends does. So I'm open to the idea, but I would really need to see the evidence. So that's that. So this is a fun question. Someone asked me, sorry, let me take a drink of my watered down pomegranate juice. Speaking of erectile dysfunction, you could drink pomegranate juice, actually. That's not, well, we're not going to go there. I drink it because it's really cool. If you look up pomegranate juice on like Green Med Info or whatever, or PubMed, pomegranate juice has a lot of antioxidants in it. So it does help with blood flow health, right? What's really cool though is like pomegranate's sweet, right? You think it would cause a problem with blood sugar, but it doesn't. It actually was useful in treating diabetes and metabolic or blood sugar handling problems. So that's awesome. So pomegranate juice can actually support your pancreas. Whereas you think, why would fruit juice help my blood sugar or my pancreas? But pomegranate juice does. It does also help. There's a lot of tannins in it. So it like helps clean like the blood vessels, I guess is the way you could say. But anyways, and then it also helps your body, because of the antioxidants, it helps men produce more testosterone. So pomegranate juice. But anyways, let me take a drink. All right. What are my thoughts on the cabbage soup detox? Well, I don't know about a cabbage soup detox, so I'm not sure. However, does bring, let me just cabbage soup detox recipe. All right, it's here. 7-day diet weight loss soup. Well, here's what I would say. Okay, cabbage is amazing. We don't need enough of it. Um, but basically, cabbage water. Okay, so take some cabbage, steam it, boil it in water, whatever. Strain the cabbage off, eat it in whatever you like to eat cabbage in, what kind of dish. But the cabbage water, if you actually sip the cabbage water, this is crazy. It helps heal your leaky gut. It's been shown to help with, and it's cheap. Cabbage water, cabbage and water. How much is a head of cabbage, right? So, but I actually had a friend in chiropractic school. She was sipping on cabbage water to help heal her gut lining. It was amazing. So, cabbage has also some sulfur in it. So, anything with sulfur is going to help your body detox toxins because sulfur is involved in the detoxification pathways. I forget how, but basically, yeah, so that's why I feel like that could be helpful because whenever people do like a cabbage detox soup, which I've never heard of, but I could see why they say that because the cabbage components is going to help seal up a leaky gut, which is going to help you not be as inflamed and messy and feel as gross, right? So that's going to feel like a good detox. And then it also has sulfur in it, which is going to support your body's natural detoxification pathways. So go for it. Cabbage is great for you. Of course, get organic, right? But severe teeth grinding at night, liver cleanse, or parasite detox. She wears night appliances. This person wears night appliances. Oh, you can't go wrong with either. I would probably start with parasite detox. If you've already done a parasite detox, though, do the liver cleanse. So feel free to DM me about that if you have more questions. I'm running my next group liver cleanse in January of 2026. It'll be awesome. We're starting on January 12th. People love this liver cleanse, guys. It's amazing. The emotional, just like that comes over your life when you do it, it's wild. Because I use some homeopathics, I use some of the actual like physical products to help your liver detox. It's been a really, really cool experience. I've been surprised by it. I can't wait to offer it again in January. So let's see. Melatonin for kids and for adults. Yeah, I love melatonin. I don't think I think it's good to like do in bursts. I don't know if you're trying to do it just for sleep support. When I think melatonin, I think of an antioxidant. So actually during COVID or like when people were getting really bad COVID cases, they were giving people melatonin to reduce the cytokine storm or the overreaction or the overinflammation. So melatonin is actually immune modulating as well. So it's not just for sleep, it's immune modulating. So that's why in general, someone who is sleep deprived over a long period of time, this actually gets really fascinating, is more likely to just get sick, right? But it's actually more likely to develop cancer because melatonin modulates the immune system. You could even say it's anti-cancer. And so if you're staying up late and you're not getting a lot of sleep, you're looking at a lot of blue light, that stops your body from making melatonin, which is your anti-cancer chemical, right? So that's where it's really fascinating. If you look into like, there's some theories out there where if you look at like the introduction, my cat is throwing up, I'm sorry. I don't know what he ate. I'm sorry, I'm so distracted. What was I saying? If you look at when fluorescent lighting was introduced and you compare that to the rate of breast cancer, they both go up at the same time. So there is a theory that a lot of these cancers, I think we're good. I think he swallowed it. Great. But there's a theory that a lot of these cancers are related to actually lighting and or the lack of melatonin production, which I find fascinating. So I don't know. I don't really know melatonin for kids or for adults. Melatonin's for kids and for adults. I don't know what that means, I guess. Besides, yeah, I think it's okay. And but here's the thing. If you're relying on it for sleep, something's wrong, right? If your body's not making enough of it on its own, something's wrong. So if you need to do it, okay. But I would just challenge you to dig a little deeper, right? So, okay. Could turmeric actually cause lupus? False in some people. What does that mean? Loop is false. Don't know. We'll skip that one. Sorry, guys. Tips for coming out of chronic nervous system dysregulation, please. I kind of talked about this. Chiropractic, water, salt, sleep. Okay. If you can't unstick by yourself, we all have those times in life. Just get help, right? I have so many moms and people of all ages, genders, whatever, in my practice who couldn't get unstuck from whether they were super anxious, super irritable, depressed, suicidal, whatever it is. They could not get their nervous system unstuck. They came and did a program with me and now they're okay, right? So it doesn't have to be me, right? But find someone who's skilled to help you rewire your brain, right? We all need to do that sometimes, and that's okay. So that's what I would say about that. Lactation supports safe vitamins and minerals during lactation for energy and strength. Okay, so to support healthy lactation, this is fun. Healthy lactation, I would look into herbs like gotu kola. Gotu kola helps it's used in Ayurvedic medicine for wound healing and collagen formation. In my industry, they actually call gotu kola Botox in a bottle because it helps stimulate healthy collagen formation. And so people's faces get all nice and, I don't know, Korean skincare-ified. And so I would try gotu kola, but gotu kola also helps support healthy milk production. So I would try that. You can also do fenugreek. Fenugreek helps with healthy milk production. And then just in general, healthy whole foods. I would do a lot of eggs, a lot of fats, a lot of red meats. If you can tolerate all those things, because you just need a lot of nutrient dense foods because you are eating for two. Okay. For energy and strength, I would just do a lot of what I just said. Best supplements for low progesterone and testosterone. Low progesterone, you want to do Chase Tree, a little bit of ovarian support, maybe Ovex from Standard Process for that direct nourishment to the ovaries. And then for testosterone, I would make sure you have zinc. I would do even some bovine or ovine testicle glandular. And then I would do something like Tonka Ali, or there's another product for that blood flow health that we've been kind of talking about tonight, a lot of blood flow health. It's called SP Red Food. SP Red Food is an amazing new product that I just learned about, recently, in the past month or so, I guess, created by Standard Process. It has beets, it has, is it beef liver? And then it has it's called a mountain spinach. This mountain spinach, I forget the proper name for it, but the mountain spinach has, let me just see. It basically helps your body make way more nitric oxide than beets do. So it's better than beets. But with this one, it's pretty awesome. So if you're going to, why am I bringing this up? Oh, so for testosterone production, blood flow health, I like SP Red Food. That would be great. Okay. Next, almost done, guys. I had like 25 questions today. I'm skipping some of them because some of them don't make sense. Please make sure you don't have misspelling or grammatical errors, because sometimes I'm not good at reading your mind. Sometimes I am, but sometimes I'm not. So someone asks, I just had labs drawn. Protein levels came back high. Also low white blood cells. What can cause this? Well, high protein, you could be dehydrated. You could be eating a lot of protein. Low white blood cell. Whenever you have a low white blood cell, think about, okay, I have my army of white blood cells. Over time, if they're low or there's a smaller number of them, it means my army of white blood cells has been fighting something for a very, very long time, and they're beginning to feel very tired and get depleted, right? So low white blood cell count is either a sign of, really it's a sign of immune system exhaustion. We need to figure out, why is it exhausted? What is constantly irritating your immune system? So that could be a chronic virus like Epstein-Barr. It could be a chronic bacterial infection like Lyme disease. It could be chronic mold exposure. It could be bone marrow issues, right? In more serious instances. It could be a lack of healthy fats or vitamins that your body needs to make cells. It could be several things. So I would need to see a full panel to give more advice, but that's where I would start asking questions. What else here? When am I going to be off the wait list? I need you to see my daughter ASAP. Great question. Sorry, guys, my waitlist keeps growing, which is I did not expect to be here. at this point in demand in less than 2 years of opening my practice. But yeah, my wait list at this point, I'm estimating to be about 6 months long. So I hope you're near the top. If we call, please answer, because if you don't answer, we have to go to the next person on the list. Okay. So I'm trying to get people in as much as I can without losing my mind. Okay. Because I need to sleep too. It's not about me. I get it. But anyways, it's been an interesting challenge. I am really excited because I've been interviewing other doctors because I need to clone me as best as I can, or find a doctor similar to me and help them be the best version of themselves, right? Because I can't help everybody, but I can help other people help you, right? So, and then of course, that's as we move forward, as my business grows, I will help oversee your case, but I may not be the person seeing you every single time. That's just how it's going to have to be. And I hope you would be okay with that and trust me and my judgment in selection of my associate. And then also get to see me some too. So that's where I'm at with that. And let me see what else. Any help? Well, this will be the last question. Any help for a 15-year-old with dyslexia? Okay, this is a concept called neurological disorganization. Okay, it's basically the wires in the brain are getting crossed. Okay, I can actually figure this out in person if that's what's happening. I'm not saying I can fix dyslexia, but what I am saying is I can help uncross some of the wires in the nervous system, right? Going back to that kind of tangled hair analogy where, like, if you don't brush your hair for years or decades, right, there's going to be a lot of tangles. It's going to take some time to brush through it. That's me with the crossed wires of the brain. I need to realign it, reorganize it, calm it down. And so that's kind of where I would start with that. So a little bit of a vague answer there, but it's really fascinating when I'm working someone who has the umbrella term of neurological disorganization. When I'm working on someone who has that, it's very obvious because things just are exactly opposite. It's like they're like, which is my right or left? They're like, this is my left, this is my right, this is my left. Their brain is flipped. So sometimes that can be what's going on with dyslexia. So Google neurological disorganization, and I'm curious what will come up. Probably nothing useful, because I don't know if they'll consider it a real diagnosis, but that's where I'm at with that one. Someone asked me if the applied kinesiology course I did this past weekend was with an instructor and teacher called JJ Greger. Yes, it was. I'm already certified in applied kinesiology, but I wanted to take the course again. So I'm taking it again with a different instructor than I took it the first time. Man, it's so fun taking it as a doc versus when I took it as a student. As a student, I was trying to drink from a fire hose. This time I'm sitting in class and I'm following his everything. It was really cool. So that will actually be 7 weekends of my time that I'm investing to learn and brush up on stuff because, hey, I'm always learning because I want to help you guys. So the world needs a lot of help. And if I can solve problems faster, I can help more people. So anyways, guys, thanks so much for joining. That was Alive with Dr. Jarod. I'll see you next week. Submit your questions Sunday on my Instagram. Have a great evening.